Hello YouTube. It's been a while. Did I forget you? Did I suddenly lose interest in continuing to do videos on YouTube? Yes. But I have a book to promote, so here we are. You've probably seen it by now. A few days ago, I've released the official cover for Tailia Phoebe Rogue, the next Tailia Phoebe book to release on July 8th, 2025. The book is fully done, it is complete. I am super happy with it, and this video is basically just to promote it and the future of the series because there is a lot going on. First of all, here's the core as I talk about the book in a bit more detail. Tailia Phoebe Rogue is the second novel of the mainline Tailia Phoebe series. This one, however, follows Phoebe as the central focus instead of Tailia, and this is a horror science fiction novel. It is 352 pages long with 40 pages of behind the scenes content. I'll talk about this later because there's an important thing about that. It is over 80,000 words long. It is the longest book of all of my books. And here is the description. Can an artificial creation be considered a living being? Tailia is broken. After a mission that proved to be too overwhelming, the punk finds herself living through hell with her mind fragmenting itself, splitting her into dozens of odd personalities, all slowly consuming her true self. It's up to Phoebe to take matters into her own hands for the first time of her life, a task she isn't too particularly thrilled about. Tailia was always the one taking care of her, not the opposite. Lost and frustrated, it's with this reasoning in mind that Phoebe discovers a strange place hidden by an abandoned amusement park, an underground medical complex run by a peculiar yet intelligent man, an independent experimentalist who claims to challenge the meaning of a living being with his latest unimaginable creation. This is a much slower paced book than Eyes on Me. Slower paced, more psychological, and a lot more brutal. Here is the trigger warning. It is on the back cover. It will be on the Amazon page. And yes, the book releases on Amazon on July 8th. Once again, reminding it, saying it again, July 8th in paperback. That's $10.99. And on Kindle, that's $3 per usual. I am incredibly happy with this book, and I'm super happy that it's going to exist because I've always wanted to write a big, chunky horror novel, and I freaking love it. It's my favorite book. I'm just going to say it now. It is my favorite book. I'm so happy with how it turned out. It was challenging, but like in a good way. Production-wise, no issues. A little tight, timing-wise, not gonna lie. The cover was basically revealed the day it was finished. Fun fact. And speaking of the cover, massive thank you to Margot for drawing it and designing it. This is the very first cover that I didn't design. Margot had a mock-up in mind with the few details that I had given her about the story very early on in production, and she drew a mock-up cover that I really loved, and I approved it, and this is the final result. So it's all her, besides like the design of the characters. So massive thank you to you. You're wonderful. You keep bringing new life to this series. It's insane. And yeah, it's also my favorite cover. Go figure. I love horror. Now, hopefully you're interested in the book. Again, it's coming out July 8th. I'm saying it over and over again because it is very close. As of this video releasing, it's in 2 days. Again, timing-wise, not the best, but this is the date I've always wanted for this book, and we're reaching it, and that's so cool. I did start the marketing and all that stuff already on like Twitter and Bluesky and other things. But yeah, you know how I work by now. My marketing is not great. I suck at it, and it is what it is. I'm not good at everything. I'm just happy the books exist at the end of the day, and especially this one. Now, is that all? No, absolutely not. This year, which is the first year for Tailia Phoebe, there are 5 books set to release. Asterisks. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to hit that goal, but timing-wise, it is actually doable even with the Rogue stuff. Eyes on Me released back in February 18th, 2025. Rogue is releasing on July 8th, 2025. And there are 3 more books that I'm currently working on simultaneously-ish. Not really, but there's the third mainline novel that I've mentioned a few times by now. And the title is actually not revealed at the end of the behind the scenes for Rogue. You do get some hints on the story, on the genres and stuff, but that's all. So I apologize. I want to keep this one a little secret for a little bit. It is pretty special. I'm looking forward to writing it, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun one compared to how bleak and brutal Rogue can get at times. But that's going to be the last book to release. Until then, I'm working on 2 other books that are much smaller scale, and they are side books in a way. There's one that I cannot mention at all, at least for the time being. I do not want to say a word of it. But there's another that is called Tailia Phoebe Shenanigans. This is a pretty strange project, I won't lie, but it's a very fun project because it's a collection of 15 short stories set before Eyes on Me, between Eyes on Me and Rogue, and after Rogue. It's just a bunch of short stories. Some are shorter than others, some are longer than others, and it's been a lot of fun to just write all of these little things with these characters, because that's the thing. I love these characters so much, and this is the perfect way to write a shit ton of things with them. Silly, or funny, or even sometimes heartwarming or genuine, if that makes sense. And one of those stories is actually in the behind the scenes of Rogue. So when you get Rogue, you also get a sneak peek at Shenanigans. And it's one of my favorite stories. It's actually written in the first person because it's all dialogue outside of like 3 lines of text. And it's a heartwarming one. And it makes sense as to why this one was selected as the preview. And yeah, I'm excited. I do not know when it's going to be released. That's the thing. Because right now the 2 side books that I'm working on, including the one that I cannot mention a word about, well, they're kind of interchangeable. It really depends. For once, I actually cannot tell you anything because I don't know. I really don't know, but I'm working on both projects at the same time right now, and I'm very, very excited to keep going. Once these 2 are done being written, I'll work on the 3rd novel. Because that's the thing, these 2 books are probably going to be done being written at the exact same time, but one is going to release first and the other will release a few weeks after, even if it's fully written. It's just to allow all of the books to have room to breathe, and I like to dedicate time to each of the books, like plenty of screen time, I guess. And if I just release like 3 Time Phoebe books the same day, it is not a good decision. It is not viable. But yeah, you get more info on Shenanigans when we'll get closer to that book's completion. And for the other book that I'm working on right now, you'll get all the info once it's like completely done. Because the premise of that book is so freaking cool, and I do not want to spoil it in advance because it is legitimately really cool. And the cover that I have in mind gives it away. So I cannot mention it yet. And that is all I'm going to say. I really like the idea of this collection in general. It's a very cute, very fun way to do a bonus book that feels very natural, especially because there are a lot of little Easter eggs and references with the other books as well. And when you read Rogue, there are things that are referenced that are actually based off Shenanigans, because I also worked on Shenanigans during the production of Rogue. It's just very fun. It's a very fun thing, and it will be as cheap as possible. I don't know how cheap I can make it with, you know, the changes that Amazon does and all sometimes with the prices, but I will legitimately, I promise, try to make it as cheap as possible, because it is a bonus book at its core. It's a bonus. It's going to be explicitly stated to be a bonus. On the spine, there's going to be the word bonus. But yeah, I'm super excited. I'm super excited for this year in general. This year has been great with Tailia Phoebe. I'm super happy. So yeah, Rogue is coming out July 8th. Fantastic cover. Thank you, Margot. Fantastic book. Very long book. Very brutal. It was hell to write at times, but not because the production was bad, but because of the contents. I shit you not. There was one scene that was like legitimately throwing myself into a volcano. That's how it felt like writing that scene, because I hated it, and it's one of the best scenes of the book. I hated writing it. I wanted to vomit, and I'm super happy with how it turned out. Oh yes. So yeah, Shenanigans is coming later this year. The third main Tailia Phoebe novel is coming likely at the very end of the year or early 2026. And there's one more Tailia Phoebe project this year for sure that I can't say a single thing about yet, except that it has a really cool premise that I'm super happy with. Okay, are we good, YouTube? The next Tailia Phoebe video will probably be like a short launch trailer of sorts, and then after that it will be the showcase video of the paperback book, which I'm very excited to get. I know these books don't get a lot of attention, I recognize that, but I don't care because it's super fun, and I always do it because I love it. Like, I love writing, I love coming up with these stories, I love exploring these characters in all of these years of their lives and get inside their minds where they feel justified for certain actions that other people do not like them for. And it's been a lot of fun to really expand on this. I really wanted Tailia Phoebe to be big, and right now it's going great. So yeah, even though these don't have a huge audience, in fact it barely exists, I'm just happy that I get to have these books in my hands and I get to read them, because yeah, sometimes I do read them. I won't lie, they are the kinds of books that I would have loved to read when I was a little earlier, or like when I was reading Faster Flights as it was releasing back in 2020 and 2021. Those are the books I would have loved to read at the same time. I get to make them. It's just really fun. So yeah. And also, I'm just going to say right now, for funsies, this month marks the 4th anniversary of the first Tailia book. It hurts. It genuinely hurts to think about. Okay, I'm going to stop here. Thank you for watching. It's been a pleasure to talk about this book. I love it. Hopefully you're interested. I'll see you next time.